my friend. My name is Mercury, and I'll be here to tell you a story. A little fable for your pleasure, if you will. It was written and narrated by myself, Mercury Sounds. Go ahead and get comfortable. Snuggle into your covers, prepare your study equipment, prep your workspace or art supplies. Do whatever you need to get ready as I read you this tale. It's called He Came with Crows. Every so often a man can be seen surrounded by birds. He's usually in places of turmoil. He's something of a spirit, albeit I'm not quite sure what kind. Be he yokai or revenant, demon, devil, or demigod? I'm not quite sure. But what I do know is that he calls himself Crow. He tends to touch those who are dealt mild to moderate despairs, be it a person, a place, or a possession, though most of all, he can be found helping small animals. But on one fateful November night in a small town in Midwest America, in the year 2017, Crow changed a young woman's life for the better, forever. Monica sat in a heap of depression, just outside the back door to her job. She was smelling of fried foods, and she was sticky with maple syrup. As she sat, she thought dark thoughts. You see, her boyfriend had just dumped her, and she recently found out her father was stealing her tuition money for college. And working at this diner late at night for tips wasn't gonna fix it. She was then quickly startled by a loud thunk sound made inside the dumpster. Birds suddenly everywhere, squawking as a young man climbed out of the dumpster. He was clad in black and seemingly covered in dumpster food. He could be heard comforting something small in his arms, as he could be seen with mashed potatoes in his hair. He turns and extends his arm out to feed one of the dark squawking birds a french fry. Me next, me next. There you go, my friend. Now that our little buddy is feeling better, we can let him go. He sat down a possum, and both he and Monica watched as it gave him a kiss and then scurried off, a tiny little limp in one of its bandaged legs. Her too, one of the dark birds cawed. That is when Monica's life was truly set into motion. The marvelous and magic young man enthralled Monica as he sat with her and listened to her problems. This couldn't be happening. Surely she was dreaming. Some strange goth punk she had never met before was listening to her go on and on about her life struggles. And he had talking birds that were somehow everywhere. Wow, that sounds like you could sure use some fun. Take the edge off. You still on shift? As she said no, he grabbed her hand, and the birds flew upwards in startling fashion. After a blinking flinch, they sat in her car. Nice wheels. Let's get this baby some gas and we'll go on an adventure. She had zero reason to trust this man, but for some reason, she also had zero reason not to trust him, and seemed to be leaning more towards the latter feeling than the former. As she put the car into drive, he directed her to a strange building she'd never seen before, and she knew this small college town pretty well. As they got out of the car, a deer walked up to them and asked them what kind of gas she wanted, and proceeded to fill her tank. Best part is, it's free of charge. Crow had smiled and told her. Somehow, this really was the best part. The talking Bambi deer took second place to cheap petrol. After the petting zoo gas station, Crow told her to drive a certain pathway. She was beginning to notice the streets were empty. Despite the hour it was, this was still strange. The streets were never truly empty here. As they drove, he led them to a dead end and told her to keep going. Monica looked at Crow as he gazed back. Do you trust me? and he extended his hand for her to grasp it. She paused, looked towards him, looked towards the dead end, looked towards him again. She grasped his hand and she put the pedal to the metal, gunning it towards the wall. As she could see from the corner of her eye, they were about to collide with the wall. Again, a flock of birds flew upwards with a gust from underneath their seats, and in another flinched blink, she opened her eyes, and her car was flying.
Actually, we're riding on a flock of crows and ravens. Go ahead and look down.
As Monica looked out her window, she saw a platform of black birds, seemingly merged together, flying in unison. She stepped out onto it and peered down to the city beneath her.
Up here, you can see just how small everything is. Every obstacle you face, you think it's a towering blockade. And you think that for a good reason. It's the only perspective you've had. It's kind of hard to see the forest when you're surrounded by trees. But these obstacles, they're just small speed bumps along your path. And you have the power to step over them.
He turns the car radio on inside her car before shifting into the form of a bird and flying out, circling around her and the other birds before returning down to her in human form.
Dance with me. Let's dance the worries away.
She was overcome with joy and simple love. She began to weep and smile as the strange magician she knew not the name of made her feel loved and cared for. She began to love him as he made her love herself, something she had never truly felt before. So she had to ask him. She had to ask about him.
My name is Crow. I'm a being of empathy. A long time ago, I was very sad. I wished not to be alive anymore. I prayed to God to turn me into a bird so that I could fly away. One of them did, and as I passed away, I passed on to a new state of being. I find the displaced, and I disrupt their despair. I taught boys how to fight cruel men, and women how to self-consecrate themselves after profaned acts. As I hope to do with you, I've kept beautiful lights from the grave.
Monica thanked him for his compassion and told him that she would do her best to spread his kindness through her actions. In response, Crow thanked her for her beautiful soul.
Thank you so very much, Monica. It is likely I will never see you again. However, I'll leave you a token of my appreciation. I leave them to all of those I've touched. And though we may never meet again, I have love for each and every one of you.
Monica and Crow would dance the night away. In the morning, she awoke, tears in her eyes, happy to be motivated to overcome her sadness, yet sad that her mind had crafted something so significant that could have never happened. As she readies herself for the day to come, she reaches for her keys to her car and pauses. A necklace. It sat there with her keys, a slim silver chain with a beautiful silver crow charm. Her dream had been real. A tear escaping her eye as a warmth filled her chest and a strength filled her body. Monica knew that she could do whatever she set her mind to, that she would do whatever she set her mind to. Just as I know that you are capable, my dear listener. I thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed tonight's story. It's my gift I wish to share with you. Please remember that you can do whatever it is you are gifted with the ability to do. And until next time, my name is Mercury Sounds. Goodbye.